Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine, and this is part two of how I scrapbook. I had so many pages from my personal album to share with you all. I decided to turn it into two parts so that way the video itself didn't get too long. And I hope you all enjoy seeing my pages. Please leave me a comment if you have any questions about anything and let me know which one your favorite page is. Here we go. I do have photos with my family. For those of you that are wondering, my family is camera shy, and so I try to honor their wishes and not have them on my social media or my YouTube channel. So that's just the nature of, I think, maybe also having a military family as well. But here is another layout that I know I did recently with Wanderlust. Actually, not recently, but this year. And so here I've picked out some photos, and like I said, I kind of place them roughly where I think they'll go. But you can also see, so this mat is here. This one is was a smaller, the 4x4s, and I even have mostly vertical pictures, but I've got a horizontal journal box, and I don't care. I mean, it's not that I don't care, but this is part of the working on pages that are already put together. And since I put together so many for YouTube, I do sell some of them, and I am trying to figure out a better way to do that. I have sold some in my Facebook group, but I know not everybody is on Facebook, and so I want to be able to open it up to others, and I see that YouTube now has a shop feature. Okay, let me get myself on camera a little bit better for you all. When I print my photos, you have that option to pick if you want it the full photo like this one, or if you want to make it a little more compact in the frame through Creative Memories. And so some I do the full and some I do the where you get that little white bar. And so right now I'm just cutting off these little white bars above and below. And so I'll ask you all, if I do open up a YouTube shop here, would you like to see some of my completed album pages up for sale here? I think it wouldn't be worth my shipping just one page for postage for either one of us for the time and the effort it would take and the cost. But I don't know if I should do it by collection or, just say, okay, pick 4 and then I'll send an invoice and we'll get it shipped kind of thing. Or if you would prefer to shop some other way, I guess drop me a comment and let me know your thoughts if you would shop with me if I opened up a YouTube store here. Okay, it looks like this tree is a little bit more dead. I think I might take off this other little bit, and actually that might fit that actual box a little bit too. Like I said, even though I mix and match, a lot of times it really does work out for me. I wasn't holding on to my trimmer as tight, so I'm just going to grab my scissors and take off that top little corner. So that's pretty much almost the exact size of the box. So I'm going to angle it up a little bit here and over just to accentuate this end, I think, of my photo. I'll know more when I go to stick it down. That one I've trimmed. We're going to highlight more of the center, and this one actually does go on the mat. Let me get this other side of the page trimmed up, and I'll be right back with you. And I am using the grid lines on my personal trimmer to figure out where to cut my photos at. This one, I don't think I'm going to trim at all. I may wind up switching some of these around, but we'll see. And yes, I will be doing a trimmer talk also in these videos. That's just a few steps away. I have my summer videos planned so I can film them before we move. And then I will film more when we get to our location. So I'm not sure if y'all, I think you're going to be watching this one while I'm on the road somewhere. But we'll see. Let's see here. No, I think this is why I put these two together, because I like the color coming down from this one going into the yellow here. I might actually, so I'll show a little bit from there and a little bit from here. I think I need to cut this off too. So now that I'm taking a closer look of what's in the full photo, I have just a little bit at the top of the photo. You can see where I have this green and then my moss and log start. And I think I'm going to go ahead and trim that down just a little bit too. But this is, like I said, part of my process. I'll trim and then I'll relook and then I'll trim again if I need to. There you go. I like that better with just that little bit of brown at the top instead. Coming down into the yellow from this orange with the yellow above. And I know y'all have watched and heard me talk about color before, but this is where it also comes into play a little bit as well. I will center that upper one a little bit there. And I'm feeling pretty good about this whole thing. All right. Put my trimmer aside here for a moment and let's get these stuck down. And then all right, there we go. Another double page layout done for my 2023 album. These photos were taken in Oregon in the fall, and it just, the Wanderlust really helps my photos to pop on the page. I will get my journaling done here, and that is all she wrote for that one. Let's see what else I've got here. Some of these photos I showed in my Junoween challenge. Some of these are from when we went to see the eclipse. And I am actually using them on these pages to finish them off. This is also Wanderlust, it looks like. And yeah, looks like I'm gonna use my travel notes for a photo mat as well. We'll see when I get these trimmed down where I finally decide to put which photo. I think maybe I was going to put this one up here and here. In that circle. And then decide between these two. That can go there. This is essentially the same shot, the same place. This one was a little bit more when the eclipse was actually getting ready to get going. That's the actual moon over the sun. So I think I'm going to eliminate this one. And this is also part of my process of, okay, look, these two are really very similar. Which one do I like better? Which one shows a little bit of the more of this, goes with the rest of the story on the page? And this one might wind up on a companion page. It might not. but not every photo you take and print has to get scrapbooked. That might be another lesson that, you know, is it okay if I give you permission for that? You probably don't need my permission for that, but I did say it out loud. You do not have to scrapbook every single photo that you take. This one may or may not wind up on a page. Let me get these trimmed and I will be back with you. I am probably going to pull out my custom cutting system circles for this one so I can actually layer this part in here. So need to get some measurements on that. This is what editing is all about. And now y'all are getting to hear a lot more about what's coming in this video. But here we go. I've got my trimming done. And these are going to go down. So you can see where some of them I did wind up taking a little bit off the side. On this one I noticed I had some islands that just didn't make as much sense. I took a little bit off the side of this one. These I tried to leave as the panoramas. And this one I cut with my circle. And I pulled out my template first just to get an idea for how large this was, which size blade to use. I will talk to you all about that, explain the whole process coming up at some point too. Labeled it with my photo labeling pencil on the back of this one a little bit too. And then I like that I'm going to be able to highlight a little bit of the top and bottom of the interior of this one as well, of the embellishment. Straighten that out just a hair. Yep. And this one also is going to have a little bit around it as well. All right. So another double page layout is done. Here, I'll show you what I was talking about with the little bit of the embellishment showing at the top of my photo and the bottom of my photo there that you could see wasn't necessarily something that I planned. It just kind of worked out as I was trimming my photos, the sizing fit. So here's that other one that also is going to have a little bit around it as well. With this one, I used just the little top of that mat that was there. And I went angular on this one as well. And I have a couple more pages to do. I'm going to go ahead and just work my way through these. And I will probably speed it up for you all in my editing process. But I will explain it after I'm done with my cutting and placing, kind of where I wound up putting things. I think this is going to work for me. You all could see I kind of noticed that I had a dead branch up here that I wanted to cut off and fit within the 4x6 mat a little bit better. And I'm going to actually layer these two photos, placing the third one over here. As I went to place my barn photo, I kind of thought it was kind of neat to have the barn and the silo showing up here, to just use part of this mat down here so I can journal here or here. I'm going to leave the photo of me alone. Let me get some tape on and I'll be right back with you all. All right, so the photo of me is going here with all the gray cows. These are from the On the Farm collection, so you will probably find this in my compilation video I did for On the Farm, or you might be able to find the individual videos on my channel as well. I believe I don't even know if this might have been a single, and I was possibly using up scraps because I remember doing this little bow feature at the corner of the frame there. And then this one, I don't know if it's on the farm also or if it's something with one of the sunflower collections. It kind of looks like on the farm, but I am not 100% sure. But it worked with the page next to it. These might have been two individual single page layouts. This might have been something from one of the virtual crops. I'm not sure. It was in my pile of layouts I kept to work with, so I am working with it now that I have the photos for it. I do have Power Project sleeves or power sleeves that I have like a stack of like Christmas in and a stack of fall in or autumn. For some reason, I seem to have quite a few of those pre-done already. And then I have some that are more miscellaneous and some that are ones that I've done more recently that I'm going to see if it'll fit into the 2024 album, or I'm going to see if I need to put together a few more layouts for it. A lot of my early 2024, of course, we were still in New Mexico, whereas this is when after we were at Washington State. And so I have the secret box that has Copper Canyon in it, and I have some more wide open places that I know will go with photos from New Mexico well. I wasn't really sure I would have anything to use with the On the Farm collection, but hey, I found some barns and a photo of me with a barn. Look at that. Here in Washington State, so go figure. And now I have a few lavender photos that I'm going to add to some Serenity pages here. It looks like I've got another paint a garden. And so I'm going to go ahead and do these also for you all. Hopefully this is really giving you some good examples of how I do the pages. This one is going to be a little more simple. I found 4 photos to go between the pages, and that's what I'm going to place. I might find some more later and I might add later, but you know, this is the 2024 you saw with the 2020. I'm sorry, this is 2023. So with the 2022 that I did with the hot air balloons, I actually did go back and print, like I said, a couple extra photos. So if I find that, you know, this page just looks a little more blank later on, I'm not worried about going back and finding a couple photos from my phone, adding to them to my cart, and printing them to add to pages that I've already have kind of preset and ready to do. So it's a bit of a process for me. I do this step usually more all at once through my whole album, but I really wanted to get this filmed for you all, so I pulled pages randomly, not completely randomly, but from my album with some more of the scenery photos, so that way I could get them onto the pages and give you all an idea of how I do my albums. And then I will go back, like I said, with the 2022, and I'll do the actual writing for the journaling. And then I'll go through, make sure all the pages are in the order that I want them to be. And then they go into the pocket pages and then into the album, and it's done. Yay! So this one's turning out a bit lengthy, but I hope y'all are still with me and enjoying seeing my pages put together. You're gonna have to let me know which one is your favorite, or if I've maybe hopefully I haven't overwhelmed anybody, have given you too many ideas. But like I said, everybody scrapbooks a little bit differently, and this is just what works for me. I am very color oriented, and for me it works. I don't mind using different collections in my album because I know I have photos from different places and kind of all over. So this is Sequim, Washington, where they have the Lavender Festival in the fields, and the last one was at one of the parks in Stellacum, Washington. And my next photos are going to be from, this is also Sequim, but I'm using a different collection for the pages, even though it's the same place. This one is, I don't know, is that Painted Garden? It almost looks like Painted Garden. So you can see just completely different color palette for the photos from even at the same location, the same trip. And I'm okay with that. So let me get these put together. I will speed it up in the editing so that way y'all don't have to sit here for 2 hours watching me scrapbook. But hopefully it's given you a good idea. Here we go. This is this one. I can tell I do want to print one more photo for this mat down here. I do have some space. I can journal. I've got another little box down here. I could either do another smaller photo or I may just journal down here as well. But here is the space I was talking about. I have a white mat down here that probably does need a photo just to round out this end. And I do have quite a few lavender photos. So kind of like the Balloon Festival, I will go back and I will print one more for this one. On to the next page. Also, I took a little bit extra off of this one. And I think I'm ready to put some tape on. I usually, as I'm cutting, I kind of figure out where I want things to go. This one is going to be a little bit tight in here. I may switch these two. Let me see what I have here. Yep. Those two are going to get switched because I didn't like the little boxes getting cut off on the sides showing from this one. And that's just how it made sense for me to trim that photo. So that's what I did. I'm going to get some tape on and get these on the pages. Okay. All right, that is all she wrote for you all. Hopefully that helped you can see, oh, I don't know if you could, there you go. You can see where this one does have still some of the white space on either side of this photo. This was one of the 4.5 by 6.5 mats, but it worked out. I was able to switch these two photos, even though originally I wanted this one in the top. That's just the way it worked out. I'll journal over here. And with this one, I really had to decide how much of these leaves do I want to show around my pine trees with my eagles, but it worked out as well. And I did about 1/4 of an inch here from this mat around the edge of my photo as well. So let me know which page you all like the most, or if you thought that I had a certain approach you liked better or not. We all can share with each other, and we all have different styles, different approaches, like I said. And then sometimes there are pages where even I do go back and I will, like, if I don't like this flooded in green, I'll pull that off and I'll stick in a different sticker or a different saying. So I don't mind that. Like I said, I know I've done most of these for my YouTube channel. And when I'm designing them, it makes sense with the sketch or the collection. But once I get my actual photos in, maybe it doesn't make as much sense. I mean, I might actually see if there's another, like, painted with, highlights, or I don't know. highlights of the sunset, or there's not as much green in these photos, so this might be one in particular that I do change out. But as you saw with the one where I lifted the sticker for the family thing, you can do that. It's easy enough to change things out a little bit later. It's our prerogative to change our minds from time to time as well. And when I'm going to put it in the book, if there's something else I see that I don't like or I want to add or take away, you know what? The time to do it is before it's in the book. And then once it's in the book, enjoy it. I've made another video in my What is Scrapbooking series where I will share with you how many photos really go into an album.